Are you tired of pulling batteries out of the kitchen junk drawer and having no idea if they're any good or not before you go assemble whatever toy or device in the house is requiring new batteries? Well, today we're going to build a battery tester so that you can figure it out beforehand and you only got to put the device back together once instead of 7 times after you keep trying various combinations of batteries.
Blew up a quick and dirty little box to put this in, or to connect it to, or however you want to look at it. Normally I would use wood glue, but I would actually like for this to dry quickly so we can get it assembled and don't have to clamp it. And I got some fairly thin wood I'm using here, so oh yeah, there we go. Damn it. Hang on, I gotta stop talking so I can pay attention. I gotta make sure I'm getting glue in all the right spots and I don't glue this thing to my forehead in the process. Jeez Louise, what a mess. This is why I hate super glue, but here we go. Let's give this a shot and see if I've never super glued wood per se, but we're gonna give it a shot here and see what happens. I think this will turn out to be a nice little unit. Be handy. Check a battery when you need to. I ordered I couldn't find an on-off switch in any of my junk, so I ordered one. We'll see if it makes it, or if I have to do this in pieces, parts for you. The other thing I wanted to mention too is, oh yeah. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, let's go with this. Looks like this is going to work for us. All right, so the other thing I was going to mention about this, we got any sandpaper? Yeah, I know it's not the right sandpaper, but that'll do. Should have sanded these before I started, but didn't have time, so you got it. Alright, so, where was I? Hell, I don't know what I was saying. Digital voltmeter I showed you. I'll put links in the description. That is one of the things I had to order. And it will handle 3 to 30 volts. This is only for, checking the batteries in the remote or Game Boy or, toys around the house. Don't take the damn thing to work and try and plug it into an industrial control system or something. You kill yourself with it. And for the record, again, you probably saw it at the start of the video, I am not a licensed electrician, but we're dealing with AA batteries here, so maybe a 9-volter I think will be relatively safe overall. But doing this doesn't require any special skills or anything crazy. You don't have to be an electrician. I mean, if you want, I guess you could even build this with the kids. Nothing fancy. Super glue's working better than I thought. Might have to keep that in mind for future projects, because so far I'm impressed how well this is going. This is just some scrap wood I had laying around. I didn't buy any wood for this. Nothing crazy. And let's be honest, I mean, you got an old cigar box, that'd work. I mean, heck, you could use a good quality, stiff cardboard box. Maybe not, one from Amazon or anything, but, you got one of those little stiff, real hard, dense cardboard boxes, when you buy a pack of Christmas cards or, thank you cards, something like that. I would imagine that would work to hold this. You could put this project in one of those if you don't have scrap lumber laying around or something like that. And you can also get online those little plastic boxes with the metal cover and the 4 screws that come off. The Project Hobby box things. Alright, so that was the last use of that tube of super glue. I'm guessing now that there was super glue oozing out of the top as I put the cap on, we'll never get that open again. Alright, so pushing down, pushing in, hand clamping here for a minute. See if this thing sticks. Feels like it's got it. Yeah. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Not going anywhere. Alright, so here's our top. It fits on there nicely. Alright, it fits on there for God. I mean, it mostly fits. So, what I think I'm going to do is use these little bitty hinges I got and hinge the top. That way you can get in to change the batteries, and we can stuff all the wiring in there. So, see about getting those on there if we can do that with some of these teeny tiny little bitty, I mean, look at that. Oh, you can't see that. Let me move that into range. Look at that little thing. I mean, that thing is microscopic. So I think I might put a dot of super glue on the back side of the hinge, lay it on there, and then we can put the screws in after the fact. That might be the way to handle that. So let's do that. Oh, let's flip that over because I got writing all over that. You don't want to see that. There we go. Now, oh, there's some more super glue every which way. All right, so let's reopen the super glue and make some more of a mess here. I think I should try just putting it on the lid first, and then I can. All right, so there's just a little dot of super glue. Let's see if we can. Don't get that lined up. No, it's trying to move. Let's just see if that'll set up. It's rising just a touch over the top edge, which is exactly what I was trying not to do. See if you see on this side, it's sticking over the edge just a little bit. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. So, yeah, that sucks. But, oh well, life goes on. Let's see if we can glue another hinge on here. Come on. Alright, let's see if we can get this sucker. About how far off the edge did I have that? There we go. That's pretty close. Alright, let's hold this in place, see if we get this thing to stick. Let that dry a second. Oh, we'll talk about this in more detail when we get the circuit built, but you'll be amazed when you see how fussy. Well, where's my knife? See if I can get that out of there. I can't get the hinge to open back up. Hope it didn't glue it shut. There we go. Alright, so, well, now the other one's folded shut. Alright, so, now we got a box, 2 hinges, and we're going to line that up, and we're going to try to get those suckers glued into place and get this lined up, and then we're going to give it a good sanding and I think a spritz of spray paint. Alright, I'm going to give this a few minutes for everything to set up real good and find a little bitty drill bit so we can pre-pilot drill the holes for those hinge screws, and I will be back with you in a few minutes after we'll give us super glue maybe 20 minutes set up real good, and then we'll see what's next. Alright, I'll be right back. Grab some coffee. Oh yeah, that's nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Alright, so I need a little bitty drill bit, and my drill won't hold one this small. So I actually have a chuck that you can put in your drill so that it'll go down and hold even smaller drill bits. So I am just actually going to line this up by hand and put my finger on top of it, and I'm just going to spin it by hand because I don't need much of a hole, and I don't want to break the drill either. My cordless drill is not exactly built for accuracy. So let's see if that little dude Little screw in there now. Well, crap. I can't tell. It feels like it wants to start splitting. So I'm going to run that in there just a hair deeper. Alright, so got the hinges on the lid, didn't screw anything up. So now need to screw it to the base. So how do we do that without that moving around while I'm screwing with it? 3M blue tape. No, not sponsored, but hey, 3M, if you're out there. Over the years, I've spent about $1 billion on blue tape for various projects. Feel free to send a crate over. Alright, looks like it's lined up pretty good. Got the lid taped up. Edges look okay, but we'll correct a little that alignment with a little sanding, no problem. Next question. This ought to be interesting. I didn't even consider this. Are the little bitty screws for the hinges gonna poke through the inside of the box? Well, son of a, they are. And I just glued my damn screwdriver to the super glue overflow shit. Ain't that off there. Anyway. Alright, back to this. Let's take a pencil. Mark out where these things go. I don't know if we're going to need them or not. Let's hand drill some more holes. Now the sides are just poplar, so I would imagine I'm about to drill all the way through these if I'm not careful, which doesn't matter. The screw's going to pop out anyway, but I don't expect I have to worry nearly as much about it cracking as I did the plywood. That plywood's thin. It's like 6 mil plywood, or, well, hang on, we'll find out in a second. Alright, so the holes have been proofed out. How big? Where's the damn ruler? That is 1/4 inch plywood there on the top. Yeah, so 6.35 millimeters, so I was right, 6 millimeters. 6.35, close enough. Close enough for the projects we do around here, that's for damn sure.
Alright, so put these screws in. There's one. Two.
Oh, and while I'm putting these last 2 screws in, let's go back to my comment about 3M earlier. So 3M painter's tape. Yeah, it ain't cheap. It's that simple. Stuff costs. But it's worth it. It's worth every penny. I got introduced to 3M painter's tape many moons ago. You know, because I'm old, but I've found a plethora of uses for it continue to use it, will continue to use it. I know there didn't used to be, but there are now competitors to 3M's blue tape. Never even tried any of them because I don't fix things that aren't broken. So anyway, there's my little expensive but worth it, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Here's screw number 4. We managed to get all 8 screws in these hinges without splitting or cracking anything. So let's peel the tape off. Hey, looky there. Alright, so we got a box with a hinge lid to build our project in and on. So, now, what do we got inside? You see the little screws are sticking through a little bit. Well, there's an easy way to handle that. Because, see, we used the screw in its original configuration with its point to cut through the wood, didn't we? We did. Why did I take that out? That doesn't need to come out. So, we have several options. I guess that's why I was taking it out. You can take it out and go over to the grinding wheel and grind them right quick. Or you can say, you know, they're not really that big a deal. Leave them in place and life goes on. Or they're sticking through just a little bit, just a little nubbin, just enough for you to catch your finger on and get, or your hand, back of your hand on and get scratched. Yeah, well, that'll suck. Looky what we have here. We have a nifty little strip of wood. And, well, let me fold that down. We set it in our box. We don't even need a ruler. We mark it with our pencil. Ta-da! We make a score line with our knife, so we've got something to work against. We get our handy dandy little handsaw. Cut it most of the way through. Give it a little pop. It leaves a little rough edge. We scrub it on the sandpaper. We check fit. Oh, look at that. Fits right in place. We get it at the right height. And we give it a good squeeze. Now we've marked our holes and we just make a couple of divots.
That one's still not quite deep enough.
But we don't want to come out the other side. So we try to be careful. And now we fit it again. Oh look, it fits nice and pretty. So we go back to, where's our stupid tube of super glue with crap everywhere. We do not put super glue in the holes. We do want to be able to get these screws back out should we choose, which we will be choosing because we're going to paint it. So we pick it up, we line it up, we give it a quick pinch, but it's not staying in place. A couple little helpers. And binder clip it in place while the glue dries. And the screws aren't sticking through, and we didn't have to sit there and grind them and cut them down and do all that. Now we got to sand the crap out of this thing. Oh, you know what we're gonna need? We're gonna need to pre-drill the holes, or at least mark where we're putting the holes for these components. Alright, so the next thing we got to do here is we've got to have a lock, a latch, something on this thing. Came up with this knurled thumb screw. It's a little big, but it's what we got. So the threads match this nut. Nothing fancy. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, I marked it, we're going to drill a hole, counterbore it, and jam that nut in there, glue it in upside down so that when you crank down the thumb knob, it's pulling the nut up into the wood and holds the lid shut. No big deal. So first thing we're going to do is drill the bigger hole, which is just slightly smaller than the diameter of the nut. So we're going to start there. Now normally I would use a drill press, but the drill press is down for repairs, and of course, thank you to the supply chain issues in the world, we are still waiting on parts. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to go really slow because I don't need to bury this nut or anything. I just need it to have a nice bite in the wood. Now let's see here. That is not deep enough, and that walked every which way. Look at that. That is not off on center. That is a total absolute disaster. Alright, I was afraid of that. Damn it. Alright, so let's remark this. That's the bad end now, so I wanted this sucker to be about 1 inch long. So my scale ruler there is 1 inch wide, laid up against there, draw a line, and it's 1.5 inches wide. Yep. So at 3/4, so I want to center it. There it is, and center it right there. So let's do this. Let's take a much smaller, much sharper drill bit, and that's, well, it's better, but you know, it's us. Doesn't need to be the end of the world. So I guess we're gonna go pick up the speed a little bit so it doesn't walk. Alright, that made a huge mess. See if this nut fits in here, or I should have gone down even. Alright, there we go. So the nut is pretty much press fit in there. Hang on, you can't see that. There it is. The nut's press fit in there. I smashed it in there with my thumb. But it's going to be like this, with the knob coming through the lid and pulling that tight up against there. So now, there's no way to get in there. So let me put the knob in there, pull that out. Yeah, that came out too easy. So now we need a pass-through hole. The thumb screw, the threads of the thumb screw there to get to the nut. So let's finish this off. Alright, see if that fits. Nope. Alright, Now does it fit? No. Starting to get a little annoying. I bet it fits now. Oh yeah. Where's our super glue here? I'm just gonna shoot a little gel in there. And there we go, precision alignment. Look at that. Now can we still get to the threads? We can. Alright. This is drying, but it's press fit in there a little bit, so that should be good. Now the only mistake I made is probably should have cut that little piece of, because then I wouldn't have had a way to hang on to the damn thing. Really don't want to saw this with that nut in. Alright. Big saw here, but I'll be able to have some decent control here. Alright, so here's how we're going to do it. We're going to open this thing up. Going to get out our super glue again. Yeah, we're going to get out our super glue again. I'm saying it, but I'm not doing it. Might be time for some more coffee.
There we go.
At the end of this is a little rough. It's ingrained, so I'm going to put plenty on there. Oh, don't drip, don't drip, don't drip. Cap that up. And now get it turned the right direction. Alright. So, next mistake was I could have used a little clamp here and failed to bring one over to need a third hand. Alright, so that'll hold that for a second. But because this is going to get torqued on, I think I'm going to put a little bitty screw right here and right here on either side of the nut. Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. Now we're going to try and sneak a screw in right here next to the clamp. Alright, so I found two delicate little bitty screws, but they're long, so I'll get a nice bite into the wood. Okay, here's a trick. So I just want to drill a hole through the front wall to pass through. I don't want the threads to bite. I want the threads to bite here. So if you take a screw and you're trying to figure out what size drill bit to make it pass through, you just hold the shank up even with the screw, look at the shank, and if you can't see the edges of the thread, you know it's a big enough diameter. It's a cheat way to look at it. This is right on the edge. I mean, if I hold it just right, it's fine. It's really soft wood. Yeah, so the clamp is in the way. We're actually going to take the clamp off. I don't know if it's done its job, but we're going to give it a shot. And because I don't want to strip anything out, I am actually going to get a countersink I've got over here. I'm actually just going to do that by hand.
We're going to see.
Oh, I see that hole could have been a smidgen bigger, but alright. There's one.
Whoa.
That was a tad aggressive, but there we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, look. I got those nice and uneven. Nice. Yeah, well, should have measured, but it's all right. Now, so now you're going to ask me, so how do I know where to put the hole here so that the thumb screw lines up, right? Not to worry. You go inside and you screw your thumb screw in backwards, or I guess upside down is a more accurate way of stating it. It's sticking up. Then you take your Sharpie and you draw all over the head, and it leaves a little black mark right here. That's where the hole needs to go. Alright, so now, what do? We drill a hole, and we switch out the drill bit and the drill. But the first thing we do, so that doesn't walk this time, because that'll ruin my lid, our lid. Now I got a nice little X, so I know where to start to hole. Right in the center of that black mark. Oh, would you look at that? The thumb screw's too damn short. Some genius, that would be me, super glued and screwed in the block with the not being deep enough. So, yeah, okay, we can fix this. See the step there? The polished section right up against the threads. I got a circle template here. That collar is 15-30 seconds. Back to the favorite 2x4. Chipped out a little bit, but we're going to sand it anyway, so life goes on. Does that fit through there? Not really well, no. That fit. Nice. Okay. Hey, look at there. Lid shut. Not going anywhere. Fixed. All right. Well, I marked 3 of the holes. 2 to anchor our little digital readout, and 1 to tuck the wire through, but the one for the wire isn't big enough, but that's a little big. Drill a little hole. Get the wires down in there. Yes, it does. So there go our wires for that. Yes, we need a power switch up here, and then we need those 2 battery holders, because we got to keep in mind underneath it we don't want to drill into that. So let me go find the power switch. We'll get that mounted, and the battery holder for power anchored down somewhere in here, glue, super glue, something, and we'll figure something out and get this thing put together. Okay, we've got our chassis built, ready to go. We're going to stop there for this video. We'll do the final assembly and all the wiring in the second video. And everybody have a good week, and we will see you soon with the second half of this video.